Hello everyone and welcome to another video. This video is going to be about Athena, how to build her, how to play her, and how to land those taunts. Alright, let's take a look at this build. So with Athena, you're going to be looking at your typical starter build for a support, Watcher's Gift, Hog, potions, etc. For her, if you're going to go aggressive, I definitely prefer Shoes of Focus. Cooldown on Athena is insane for both damage and the crowd control you're going to bring out. When I play her in either casual queues or ranked games, I will almost always build her full CDR. That's because it helps your team carry. It really disrupts the other team. In a competitive setting, I'll probably get about 25% CDR. That the difference being probably the Midas boots. In a competitive game, I would go Midas boots into Sov into maybe breastplate. But in a ranked game, I might do Shoes of Focus into Sov into breastplate. That would be the big difference. So looking at a normal build here, we'd look at Shoes of Focus or Midas boots. Of course, going into your Sovereignty as your second item, pretty much core item, every sport, doesn't matter. As your third item on Athena, you have choices. That being either Magi's Blessing or moving into cooldown. Usually I like to move into cooldown with that third item. I find that the game hasn't gone far enough to need the Magi's Blessing for securing the Fire Giant at that point, and Magi's Blessing is usually a good fourth item. So at that point, we're going to get our breastplate into our Magi's Blessing. We've got a couple slots left. At this point, we got to think about what we need. We don't have a real magical defense item at this point, so you might want to think about that. Grab a Void Stone for your team. If you have some good magic damage on your team, get that extra penetration out for them. Or maybe you need something more for yourself, strictly defensive, like a Bulwark of Hope or a Stone of Gaia. One item I like to get on supports a lot is Witchblade. Always think about getting that, depending on what their team composition is. That is definitely one of those situational items. And finishing up with an item such as like Obsidian Shard, or perhaps another pen item for you endgame. Looking at our actives here, Wrath of the Gods, of course, Shell of Absorption because it's amazing, or of course Weakening Curse if they have lots of heals. Nothing crazy there. Looking at Athena's abilities, she actually has a really good passive. This is kind of half her passive. Whenever Athena uses a skill, her next auto attack will be a ranged attack. It goes through all enemies like Rama's arrows. It will go through all the enemies there, and it also does extra damage based on her ability power. The more important passive that she has is off of Preemptive Strike. If you hit a target with Preemptive Strike, whether it be a minion or a player, it's going to give you one of 3 shield stacks. You can have up to 3 at a time, and those shield stacks are basically going to prevent an auto attack from hitting you. So when it hits you, it's going to block 100% of the damage. It's great for early game. It's great for late game when the ADC is critting. Overall, fantastic double passive. So what skill are you going to get first on Athena? Typically, you're going to get Shield Wall if you need the clear. Obviously, wait to get your skill. If you get caught in the jungle, you're going to level up Preemptive Strike first. That's your getaway skill. It's your dash. But typically, when you're clearing, you want to get your Shield Wall first. Second level, you're probably going to get the ladder. If you got your Preemptive Strike first, you'll get your Shield Wall. If you got Shield Wall, you'll get Preemptive Strike. Level 3, you have an option. Sometimes I'll get Confound level 3, which is your taunt. Maybe if your ADC is getting pounded on at the very start of the game, but if possible, try to get your shield wall to rank 2. If you use your shield wall on the archers and you dash through them and you get your auto attacks off, you'll pretty much full clear the archers by yourself. So if you cast your shield wall and the ADC, say it's an Apollo or any regular ADC, Apollo, Woojer, Rama, they use their clear on the wave, you're going to clear the archers really fast, probably faster than they are clearing the archers. So I recommend getting that shield wall as high as you can. And then at level 4, if you haven't gotten your taunt, make sure you get 1 point in your taunt at level 4. As far as casual and rank games go, I almost always, 99% of the time, I will rank up Shield Wall to max first. Then I typically rank up Preemptive Strike. And then lastly, I will level up Confound. Now this changes for competitive play. I will usually go back and forth between Shield Wall and Confound, and I will leave Preemptive Strike for last. That is the one difference for competitive play here. Athena's ultimate, Defender of Olympus, one of the best ults in the game. This is the only support where you can roam over to the solo lane while the Gold Fury is up. The reason is because of her ultimate. You can go gank the solo lane. If the enemy team starts the Gold Fury, you ulti back over, and then you're back in the Gold Fury. They have to reset, or you can steal, whatever. Make sure you really abuse that ultimate. It's really good inside of a team fight. After you initiate your team fight, you dash in, you taunt. Don't be afraid to just immediately look around for a squishy target on your team that they're going on to ult them. You don't always have to use it to get to a fight. You can use it in the middle of a fight to give your team more defense as well. All right, let's go ahead and look at this game. Threw out one ward at the beginning of the game here over by the mid camp to make sure we weren't going to get invaded. Going to go ahead and tap these mid harpies, and then of course working our way towards the back harpy, doing the typical level 3 start on the chaos side of the map. This will be a very interesting lane phase. It's a Bacchus Loki lane. Actually a very creative lane. Works pretty well due to the fact that Loki can decoy the wave, and then Bacchus can jump on the wave, hitting the whole wave. That's Bacchus's big problem, is his lane clear, being his belly flop, doesn't hit the whole wave because it won't be grouped up. But Loki's decoy can fix that problem for him, which is a very unique fix to the Bacchus laning problem. Does work. It does work. Loki ADC works as well. Just ask that man. He tears it up. Alright, right here you see I'm going to get my taunt instead of my second point into my 3. Won't be that big of a deal. We're just going to play back one wave. I wanted to make sure that they weren't going to go crazy in on my Apollo. I got kind of nervous for him in that moment. And because of the XP advantage that I got from the start, doing that back harpy start, I'm going to hit level 4 very quickly anyway, and so it's not a big deal. This was just more of a defensive play because I know I want to get the offensive control before the mid-harpy spawn. So as long as nothing crazy happens like an Apollo death early, we'll be fine. Making sure I get my 3 back here on these back archers. You can see even without 2 points in it, I still got the full clear. Now we can go in on them. Soul Shiner makes a really good early rotation over here. I'm going to get a taunt onto both of them, and we're going to be able to clean up the Loki because his stealth was down. Soul Shiner comes over, we get the jump on him, boom, bada bing, bada boom, and Bacchus is gone as well. We have an early 2 kills. Our lane is now completely under control. I'm calling to go check their speed buff. I was unaware that Thor knew that Surcat had already done the speed buff. That's typically what you would do at this point, but the Surcat had made an early rotation as well to her speed buff, and she had secured her speed buff, but we had secured her ADC lane. So who's the real winner? Loki back to the lane, but it's going to be alright. Apollo, one of the few ADCs that actually deals well with Loki. His Mez being the big key factor there, giving him physical protections, helps him a lot against the Loki. Grabbing my ultimate here at level 5. You always do that as far as playing Athena in support. If you were to be playing her in the solo lane, you might not get her ultimate at level 5. You might continue to get skills to help your lane clear, since you will be, by yourself. You don't have an Apollo to clear the lane for you, kind of thing. At this point, I'm level 5. Normally, I would hit the whole wave. I get a couple archers with my back, but I kind of know I need to rotate as well. So I get enough XP. I'm already level 5, and that's the big thing. So I'm going to start rotating towards these mid-harpies. Bacchus and Loki can't really do anything right now because they're not going to be level 5 in time. So we're going to get a free right side mid-harpy. The one thing that's really good about Athena, and the one thing people don't do enough on her, is her ability to burn beads, especially early game. All you have to do basically is you do your one, right? You start your dash up, you dash into the lane, you just taunt somebody that you see, and 85% of the time that person's going to panic and immediately pop their beads and assume something's happening. Even if nothing is happening, they'll pop their beads and assume something's happening. Apollo got caught out in the ADC lane by the Loki-Bacchus combo. Soul Shiner baiting a fight over here. I see a good Agni stun, so I'm going to go in and get a taunt on this Janus, and he's not going to be able to get his portal out in time to make it through the wall, and we're going to get ourselves a nice easy kill. Hitting an early level 7 is actually a very strong power spike for Athena on her 3. We're going to see that the Janus DCs here. He will come back. At this point, if I dash in and 3 somebody, it's going to do a ton of their health. So let's talk really quick while we're waiting about the exact Athena combo. So in a perfect world, this is the combo you want to do. You want to cast your 1, you want to hit him with the 1. You don't want to miss it. In a perfect world, we're going to hit it. So we're going to hit our 1. Our 1 slows the enemy. Okay? Then we're going to immediately cast our 3. So we're going to put down our 3. Our enemy is trying to walk out of the 3. We're going to auto attack them 1 time, which is going to have our passive auto attack on it for the extra damage. Then we're going to quickly cast our taunt. Even though it's only a 1-second taunt, that taunt's going to bring them back inside the 3. So we get the damage, the second tick off on our 3. And then we're going to auto attack again with our other passive auto attack. And that chain right there is going to be like 60% of a Loki's health at this point in the game. Ulting back over to the right lane, not necessarily for a fight, but just to get back to the lane so I don't miss any XP. If nothing's happening, there's nothing wrong with using your ult to travel around the map to grab some XP in lane control. Loki pushing up here on our Apollo. I'm just kind of trying to scare him a little bit. Nothing crazy. I could have maybe blindly taunted and tried to get him out, but I just didn't, didn't need to right there. If I would have missed it, who knows, maybe Bacchus was around the corner and then they going on Apollo and I don't have my taunt up. It's like, oh no. So right here, Janus is kind of playing up. He comes back. He sees me. I'm like, okay, whatever. I keep my dash ready to go. The Thor comes in towards the middle lane. Bacchus is here. I don't care. I'm going to do my combo. Bada bing, bada boom. And I'm going to get a kill on him because that is how much damage Athena's combo does in this early game. You gotta be so careful about the Athena combo. People underestimate. Even as a support, it's just her base damage. Serket over here just chilling by me. I'm like, what's up, Serket? Unfortunately, she does not come back into my 3. Serket is ridiculously fast and can kind of just like walk away on a whim. I also did not hit her with my 1 to slow her beforehand. The Bacchus had jumped over to these mid-harpies we saw from the mid lane, which means that he has no getaway skill, and he has just made his death complete for us. He has given us the freest of free kills by jumping into the mid-harpy. Quick note on that, try not to use your getaway skill into the mid-harpy on a support if you don't have to. I know sometimes you have to in order to get there. But it is better to let the mid-harpies go than it is to die for the mid-harpies. Now, obviously, you can't always help it. Sometimes you're like, oh, I thought I was safe. I didn't know anybody was there. That's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you know there's an Athena Thor coming for you, and there's an Agni rotating, and you're like, I can either jump in and maybe get the mid-harpies, or I can just walk away. Just walk away. Your death isn't worth it. If this was a competitive game, that could have been a gold fury right there. So you just got to be very careful. Backing up, I make sure to get a tier 3 hog as well as a sentry ward. Pretty early, I didn't necessarily need to get a sentry ward. I could have gotten 2 regular wards, but I feel pretty comfortable this game coming out with a sentry. I'm very comfortable with my gold inflow. I definitely didn't get Midas boots. My XP is great. My gold is great right now, so I'm going to take full advantage of that. Remembering, of course, that this is a ranked game, not a casual game. I know you guys wanted to see me play ranked, so that's what I'm playing. See a good opportunity to get some damage here on the Loki. He stalls out. That's perfect. We don't have to worry about anything. Now I'm kind of looking for an opportunity to re-engage since I know the Loki stealth is down. So I'm kind of going to come off the side here. Maybe they'll re-engage on the Apollo. And sure enough that they do. So I'm going to go over here and get some pressure on the Bacchus now. Doesn't matter who I target. My 3 is going to do a ton of damage to anybody at this point. So we get that Bacchus down to about 30 to 40% health. And I'm just like, whatever. What if I just do the same thing over again? And sure enough, they're going to fall for the exact same trick twice in a row. This Bacchus is going to go completely in. I'm trying to get into that Bacchus, but I can't quite get into him. The Loki ults away. The Bacchus tries to come back in thinking his Loki was in trouble, but he was not. Our Apollo goes, I got this. I got an ultimate. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And I was like, oh, that's awkward. And I'm like, no, I got this. Da-da-da-da. And then there's like, oh no, there's a Serket. And the Serket ult kills Apollo, which also happens to land onto me. And then I die. And it's an unfortunate death, and we're all sad, and we grieve. And we cry. We cry. Thor just chilling, farming on up. He is 3 levels right now ahead of their jungler. I am 2 levels ahead of their support. This death will not have a huge influence on us. Honestly, they probably should have tried to do the Gold Fury. Hard to do Gold Fury with an Agni around, especially if you don't know how many bombs he has up. So maybe it was the wise choice to not do it. But if you're down 5k at 9 minutes, then you kind of have to make some risky plays. I see the Agni by the mid-Harpy, and I know they're respawning soon, so I'm going to go ahead and ulti to the mid-Harpy so I can get there. Also, there will typically be a fight at the mid-Harpy, and sure enough, we have a little skirmish going on here at the mid-Harpy, and I was able to be there preemptively for the Agni. Janus throwing Bacchus a portal. What a swell guy. We know Bacchus is over here doing this left side Harpy, so we're going to go ahead and push him out. Try to scare him a little bit. I've got full health, so I'm not super worried. I dashed into their whole team, just kind of looking for some free damage on somebody. I can walk around and pretty much do whatever I want. Even if I die, chances are I'll get a taunt off, and if I get a taunt off, chances are there's gonna be an Agni Bomb there. It's kind of like, you guys remember the book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie? If you give a mouse a cookie, he's gonna want some milk. It's like, if you give an Athena a taunt, there's probably gonna be an Agni stun behind it, kind of thing. Same concept. No book about it, but so right here we see Bacchus and Serket using all of their skills on me, all of their CC, all of their stuns. Serket's even out of mana, but what's going to happen? They're going to use everything on me, and now Thor's going to go in with the Agni, and they're going to clean up 2 kills for 1. Not worth on their part. Their Bacchus and jungle are already so far behind. They needed to not be dead right there. They wasted too many skills and too much mana on me. Our team's going to go ahead and take this speed buff there because there's absolutely no contention. The only person up right now is going to be their Loki that can contend this. The Chang'e goes ahead and ports over to us in the ADC lane. I'm calling to do a Gold Fury right now. Unfortunately, the team is more concerned with getting kills in the right lane, and it's going to be too late now for us to go do the Gold Fury. If they would have started it while I was dead, approximately with 5 or 6 seconds left on my death timer, I would have been able to ulti in and then hog the Gold Fury. But because they took so long, we have to be extra careful because we don't know where the Bacchus is. And Bacchus is very good at taking a Gold Fury due to his belly flop. His belly flop is a hard CC that you can't do anything about unless you have Magi's Blessing. Thor going up in the air here. I'm like, there's no way he's going to get to that Loki in time, but Soul Shiner gets to the Loki in time, and there is definitely a sibling rivalry going on there. Like, if I was that Loki, I'd be pissed, man. I'd be like, Thor, F off, please. I just want to farm and kill Apollo. And Thor's like, nah, I ain't about that, dude. Like, mom's dead, and this, this whole extravaganza. Everybody's hopping off the Gold Fury. It's my job to stay on the Gold Fury. I get the Gold Fury before the Bacchus gets there. I'm sticking around with my Apollo. We're going to get a lot of damage off right here. This Bacchus is low. The Chang'e is also low, but I got to be careful because I myself is low, and I'm ridiculously drunk, so I dashed right into a wall, and that's embarrassing on camera. But we don't have to talk about it. Hercules finally rotating over to help, even though Chang'e has been there the whole time, but Tyranny by the God has come to save the day. And he's going to clean up that Chang'e kill. Looking for a cleanup on the Bacchus. Unfortunately, my taunt lasts all of 0.2 seconds because of all the DR that guy has had on him for the last couple of seconds. Yes, we did get it. And Loki's going to have to come back to lane and chill out. He needs to be kind of careful. Apollo may be level 12, but it's still not a bad matchup for the Apollo. He also has the capability to have an Athena ult on him at all times, so he shouldn't have to be too worried. At this point, we're about 7k gold ahead. Pretty large advantage. The other team at this point probably getting kind of sad. In a ranked game, people typically get less sad, because elo and you got to fight for it. But even at this point of the game, in a ranked game, people are going to start to be getting sad, especially because their Janus has DC'd again. This means that this game is once again going to be 5v4. And you know what? Sometimes that happens. That's life. Sometimes you're on the team 4v5. That was one of my videos earlier. It was 4v5. And we stuck it out and we tried to win and we tried our best. And sometimes you get on the other team and you just get 5v4 and it's just your lucky day in ranked. And you just go, ELO! And you know what? Whatever. That's life. It sucks. It happens. And we ain't going to stop playing. You know what I'm saying? We ain't just going to be like, oh, just give them the win. We're just going to be like, well, we're going to play like there's 5 there. And then afterwards, we'll say how sorry we are that, the guy DC'd. That's just like, if we say, damn, sorry he DC'd, it's almost like we didn't go full ham on them when they were down a person. It's like a power play in hockey. It's like afterwards you go, shucks, it sucks that he punched him in the face and then, he was off the ice for a minute. But, we definitely scored on you in that time, so it sucks to be you. Welcome to sports. It's like a really long power play. Really, really long power play. Moving back into this game here, we're looking at this tier 1 tower. They can't do anything to stop this. They have no capability to. We have an extraordinary XP advantage right now, and we are going to use that XP advantage to push towers. Always channeling my 1 on Athena to look for taunting opportunities. Even if you don't use it, you can just keep channeling that 1 on Athena over and over again to look for those taunting opportunities. Taunt, a very important skill, and if you land it correctly, you can do a lot of work. Loki trying to get away. Of course, he's Loki, so he is actually going to get away. We have a Circuit here. We're doing a lot of damage to her. Apollo tries to land on the Loki. Unfortunately, he still had his ultimate up. Our Thor goes in the air and makes a fantastic executive decision to land on a spot where Circuit would be jumping with her 1. Brilliant, brilliant play by Soulshiner there on Thor. At this point, I've got quite a bit of gold. I have enough to get tier 2 in the Breastplate of Valor. I'm going to start going back to get that, but we know their speed buff is up, so I'm going to throw a little spear over there. I'm pretty low, so I'm kind of worried about the Loki ganking me, so I'm just going to make sure to be careful. And also grab as much XP and gold as I can before I actually have to back. My ultimate is up, so I can always ulti back in to help the team, no big deal. Best part about Athena is no matter where you are on the map, you're kind of always there. She adds a lot of presence to the map. Especially in the early stages of the game. You have to be very careful about ganking in the early stages of the game. I get a pretty good taunt off here. We get the Loki from in stealth. He also pops his beads. Unfortunately, our team is back farming, back harpies, and the blue buff, and anything else that's not helping me and Hercules. So me and Hercules are trying to do our best here to 2v4. The Loki's out of this fight now. Circuit's kind of out of the fight, but she's still chilling around. At this point, I'm like, surely our team is coming, and Thor and Apollo actually back. They both back, and so we're alone, and I just don't even realize this. I'm just like, well, we're going to keep going forward. I see Agni. Agni's going to get a good bomb off, but Shanga's going to get a better 2 off. Loki comes back into this fight, and I know he doesn't have beads up, but he's going to go ahead and have his ultimate up. So he can go ahead and ulti out of that fight, because why does Loki have so many skills to get away? I don't know. Ask Circuit. Whatever. But this time I see the Loki, and I know he doesn't have his ultimate up, and I know he doesn't have his beads up, and I am not going to let him get away one more time. And this is going to be the end of this, guys. They're going to surrender, and we're going to go ahead and work our way into this windscreen and check out these stats. The game is over. The Athena Thor combo was too much for them. I did more damage than anybody in the game except for our Thor Soulshiner, a very good player and a very good Thor. Looking also at the damage taken, damage mitigated, this is going to be most on my team. Athena being very naturally tanky allows you to build her with that cooldown oriented focus, giving you more damage output just by getting your skills off more often. Athena has very high base damage on all of her skills, also allowing you to get that taunt off more often to get perfect setup for characters like Agni and Hercules. This was actually a great team composition to have an Athena with. Looking at our final build here, we have the cooldown on the boots, working our way, of course, into Sovereignty, the corest of core support items. Trying to finish up there with a Breastplate of Valor. This was a very short game, but that's what happens when you play Athena and you play her well. It also helps that they had a disconnect. This was a ranked game, just to remind you guys. If you liked seeing a ranked game better than seeing a casual queue game, let me know in the comments, and I will continue to do them. It is harder on my part, but I can do whatever you guys want me to do. Thank you for watching this video today. I hope you guys learned something. If you liked it, please subscribe to me on YouTube, and I will be releasing more videos every week. Please follow me on Twitch and Twitter if you want live updates on builds and strategies, and always feel free to ask me questions. All right, have a Twitching day, y'all.